Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody?
Great.
Happy Tuesday to you all on this chilly, chilly morning. It is December 20th, and Tuesday, December 20th. I just want to make sure, Sylvia, are you here? Do you want to quickly come up and say a quick chit chat? Did you have a mess?
I don't want to be first.
You don't want to be first? I just don't want to forget you. You're too important.
You don't want to be first. Nobody forgets me. Okay, I'm not very good at this, but I'm going to try, okay? Sorry about that. For those of you who don't know, I'm Sylvia Sharon. I've been here since 9/27/2015, which is 7 years, I think. I served 2 years on the resident council as a party person and then as a treasurer. And while I was waiting for my apartment back in 2015, because there was a waiting list, I started coming to exercise class where a bunch of ladies were talking about the knitting. And I thought, well, I should just join up and see if maybe I'll ever finally learn how to knit. Ladies, am I interrupting something? Anyway, at the time, there were about 17 older ladies in the group. They met once a week, and I believe Del Ebert started it. She was in there. She just turned 100 last summer, if you remember. She's still here, giving me a hard time. And it was a really good social gathering. At the time I moved in, they were posting for wanting yarn. They didn't have any yarn to work with, these ladies. And so after they made their hats, they hung them on the hall down here to sell them so they could buy yarn. In the meantime, we've been inundated with yarn. They're being donated as people have moved out or the families don't know what to do with them. But as this mushroomed to the point that they had 500 hats, and Charlotte Klein found 3 different outfits that we distributed these 500 hats to. Unfortunately, things changed in 2020, and most of the ladies aren't with us anymore. But we're still a small group of us meeting every week, and we've come up with some hats this year, but we can't seem to rattle any people interested. You don't have to knit hats. That was just something these other ladies decided to do because they wanted to knit, but they didn't have anybody to knit for. So for the 3rd year, we sent the little tiny weenie hats, the prenatal hats, down to Children's Hospital, and I'm gonna post on the board this really, really nice thank you note that I've gotten 3 years now in a row from them. I got delegated to be the spokesperson for this outfit. Don't ask me why, they just pointed at me. I also sent the other hats. They were going to a friend of Shirley Erickson, who still lives here, to Brooklyn Center Police Cop Program. The police department there they kind of knew who they wanted to divvy up these hats to, and in other years we gave them a lot. This year we were only able to give them about 90 hats, but they're very, very appreciative. And I want you to know, there are people here that really try hard, besides Sandy Miller, who works her butt off, and Ann Tout, who puts out all these pretty flowers, and a bunch of other people here. It's really, really fun to get involved and to learn these people and to socialize. And in our knit and chat group, which Jeff will tell you he refers to as Stitch and Bitch, he likes to stop by and unload every week. So just so you know, there's a place to dump your thinking if you want to come and do that too. He's quite often available. Thank you so much for your time.
So I have to ask, if you don't know how to knit, can you show up and learn? Sylvia, what do you think? Yeah, okay. So if you want to start a new hobby, there you go. All right, thank you. I'll just move on to what's happening today. At 10 a.m., there is a tech class with Dennis. It is the iPad class 2. And that is in the library today at 10 o'clock from 10 to 11:15. So please, if you're not signed up for that, it is full. Don't enter the library so they can just focus on the class. Let's see what else. Later today is our birthday celebration. There was a time change. The entertainer could not get here until 4 o'clock because of her schedule. So appetizers are at 3:30, and the entertainment follows at 4 p.m. So that's a little different than what was in the newsletter, just FYI. So 3:30 is appetizers and 4 o'clock is entertainment. So come join us if you're free to celebrate birthdays for December. 1 p.m. also is the writing group in the West Party Room. And let's see, so we'll just move on for Wednesday, typical Wednesday here. There's TED Talks on at 1 o'clock, and the 3 subjects are Think Bigger, the James Webb Space Telescope, How to Become Louder Without Raising Your Voice, and the third is the EU will solve the ethics dilemma, AI ethics dilemma. Let's see here, and then I'll move on to Wednesday. Of course, there's also 1 p.m. cribbage, and there is the open art studio at 1 p.m. 7 p.m. is bingo, and also 500. There is, on Thursday, we have an excursion, as you know, planned, typically on Thursdays, and it looks like we're watching for the weather. There could be some storm brewing and coming in on that Thursday, so I'll keep you updated as to what happens with that. We live in Minnesota, so we don't really have any control over the weather, but our eyes are on that, and I will keep you informed. So if it goes forward, we have the church basement ladies in Plowing Through at the Ames Center, and that leaves at 10 a.m. So you'll be eating a meal before the production, and that starts at 1 p.m. So a meal, and then at a restaurant, and then the production starts at 1. So fingers crossed that goes forward, because it looks like a hilarious performance, and there is still 1 space available, so FYI. In addition, on Thursday at 4 p.m. is, with fingers crossed yet again, that Don Irwin will be here for a special...
Elaine has a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
The writing group meets on the 4th Tuesday, so that would be the 27th, I think, not this week.
Oh, okay, so it's not this week. Okay, so did everyone hear that? The writing group is the 27th? Okay, so next week, next Tuesday. Thank you for that correction. Let's see here. So back to Thursday. Don Irwin will be here if everything goes according to plan at 4 p.m. And he is one of our favorite show-stopping pianists that will join us on Thursday. On Friday, the typical Friday 1 p.m. coffee chats and bridge at 1, poker at 1, happy hour at 4 p.m., and then the movie at 7 p.m., and that is Grumpy Old Men, and it's a comedy. 2 neighbors, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, continue their lifelong feud as a new woman moves to the neighborhood. Wasn't that filmed in Minnesota? Yes, filmed in Minnesota. Sylvia's husband was one of the walk-ons. Who knew? His moment in life, right? That was that one moment. And then on December the 24th is the men's breakfast. And that is about it. I'll hand it over to Jeff.
I'll tell you why someday. It's a long story.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Who was the female love interest in a few Grumpy Old Men? Who played that part? Sophia Loren? By the way, Sophia Loren, most beautiful woman ever to walk the planet. Yes. No, my wife is second. Sophia Loren is number 1. Did someone say Raquel Welch? Ann Margaret? Ann Margaret. All right. Many of you have probably received a letter from XL Energy about your electric meter and being replaced. What that amounts to is they are making wireless, remote control readable meters. And if you don't want them, you have to opt out. And so you all want them because if you do opt out and say, I want my meter read every month, guess what the surcharge is per month? $15. So, disregard that. Just as an FYI, the meters are located in the east building. They're located on the even numbered floors. And on the west building, they're, where are they in the west? I'm sorry, I blanked out. Anyway, don't worry about that. Heat. We had 2 or 3 apartments yesterday that didn't have heat because their vents were closed. Open your vents. Please pay special attention this week to the heat in your apartment. The reason being, it's going to be the Christmas holiday. We're going to have a skeleton staff from Saturday through Monday. You know, we'll come in and read the boilers, make sure everyone is working, and you know, if you have a problem, we'll get someone out there to fix it, but it might take a little bit longer than normal, okay? So please, fill your heat pipes often. Make sure they're hot, make sure your apartment is warm. If there's something that you think is even remotely amiss, let us know and we'll get in and check it out. Any questions on that? All right. Last Thursday, for my money, was one of the best days ever at Ridgepoint. And it's not because of the snowman. It's, although the snowman had a lot to do with it, I have to admit that. But we distributed the resident gifts. The folks just loved them. How was the cheesecake, by the way? You give us so many cookies and cakes and stuff that I said, no, I'm not eating the cheesecake. But what I decided on that day, and since that day, is the people that live here are so appreciative. I am not pandering to you folks. You folks are the backbone of American society, or you were at one point. And I can explain that without offending anyone, I think. You're the one who worked in the churches, who worked in the schools, who worked in the synagogues, who understand what it takes to put together that gift bag that Patty did. Patty made the coupons, she thought of everything, she worked her butt off. And the people that were the recipients of those gifts, you understand what kind of effort was put into those gifts because you've done that very same thing yourselves, either at your kids' schools or whatever. So you set an example for us on how to run this world. Now we'd like you to step aside and we'll take over. And actually, it's time for me to step aside and let the younger people take over. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you are and all your efforts that you've contributed to this country, to this world. It's really, really cool. Yes. Okay. Okay. We have, obviously, has anyone not seen the snowman? All right. Is your head in a snowbank?
Pardon?
You're new, right?
Yes.
What's your name again?
Edie.
Edie. I shouldn't make fun of someone that just moved in, should I, Edie?
Go ahead.
But that's who I am. Edie's had her head in a snowbank all week. If you look out on the north of the atrium here, there's a big snowman that was built by 3 Rich Point employees that don't need to be mentioned. And it was myself and Paula and Linda. I do want to say that Paula and Linda spent more time having a snowball fight than they did. We also got a little bit of help from Dick Plape, Greg, Don Eckenrode. So it was a committee, but it was a lot of fun. People enjoy it. With this cold weather, it can compete with Mount Rushmore in terms of how it's going to hold up. There won't be any melting or any. It's strong as an ox. And it is not perfectly straight, so once it does start to thaw, it's gonna go. But that's all right. We put a APB out for snowman names. And I did not count them all, but these 24 selections, which are on a piece of paper in front of you, I would say were either a third or a fourth of the amount of entries. Lots of entries. This is gonna take a little bit of time, but I'm gonna go quick. So, if you folks have gone over the list and when you hear your name mentioned, the one that you like, give us a shout, holler, or clap, okay? And we'll whittle it down until we get to finally a name. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Big Ben. Gus. Holly McJolly. Does everyone understand the rules here? Jingle Bell. Someone say yes or clap. Okay. Lucille Snowball. Okay. Manny Snowden. Marshmallows.
Yes.
Minnie Tonka.
Yes.
Ramblin' Ridge.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Regina. Regina. Sorry. You. Wow. No. I just said the name wrong. I'm not the one laughing even. Ridge Point Rebel. Ridge Point Rider. Rocky. Romeo. Your vote is losing sway, Norma. Showy Snowy. Sir Henry Hightower. Snow Biz. Snowdrop. Snowy Point. Susie. Tubby.
What is that?
Tubby.
Sure.
Whitey. Okay, I think it's between Lucille Snowball, Minnie Tonka, Ridge Point Rebel. Any others?
Is it a man or a woman?
Yes. Is it a man or a woman? Yes. In today's, no, we are not sure how the snowman identifies themselves. It's 2022, right? So we have to be aware. Okay. Okay. We're going to have 4 of them. Lucille Snowball, Ridgepoint Rebel, Ridgepoint Rider, Snowdrop. We're not doing the one Regine, because I don't know how to say that one. All right, ready? We've got 4 of them. Lucille Snowball, Ridgepoint Rebel, Ridgepoint Rider,
Sure.
Snowdrop,
Ridgepoint Rubber.
Lucille Snowball, Ridgepoint Rebel, Ridgepoint Rebel it is. And that is a non-gender name, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And Eunice Rockland, you did that one? Very good. Okay. Norma, did you want to read a poem?
Yeah, I guess it's a poem. It's a story.
Do you want to come up and do it? And then we'll do the birthdays?
I don't like to, but I will.
We'll do the birthdays while Norma comes up. Today is the 20th. Tomorrow, Charles Bond and Maureen Fine have birthdays. Come on up. On the 22nd, Steve Harvala. On the 23rd, Patty Bratter. On the 25th, Carol Scow and Pat Anderson. Pat, you're a Christmas baby. How did you like having your birthday on Christmas? No? You felt you got jobbed out of presents every year, didn't you?
I always work on my birthday and on Christmas both, but luckily they both come on the same day.
Are you a nurse?
Work one day and I'm done.
What do you do?
I fix breakfast.
Oh, she cooks, cleans, does all that stuff on her birthday.
Everybody over.
Okay. Also, sad to announce, everyone knows Charlotte Snyderman. She's been around a long time. She passed away, I believe, last Thursday or Friday. Beautiful woman, like I said, been here a long time. Some of the most beautiful hair you'd ever want to see. And a beautiful person. Yep.
And she loved the sunshine. So, as most of you know, we are celebrating Hanukkah at this time. It lasts 8 days. You all are invited. Joy has arranged for candle lighting each evening, and the East Building, I don't know who, you're doing the West Building. I don't know who's doing the East Building. Okay, so everybody is welcome. We include everybody. So you're welcome to come and see what we do. I found this little book at a used bookstore and I absolutely love it. And it tells a little history of Hanukkah, since each of us explains it a little bit differently in most cases, because it is a little bit different for each person. So this is in black and white print. A little history of Hanukkah. Jewish families all around the world come together in the winter of each year to celebrate the holiday of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is truly a time of celebration, for the holiday recalls a momentous event, an uprising in the name of religious freedom. The story of this uprising began in 168 BCE, when the land of Israel came under the control of Greco-Syrian Empire. Antiochus, the emperor, outlawed the practice of Judaism in his attempt to force all people to worship the pagan gods of Hellenism. The Greco-Syrians decorated the temple in Jerusalem, and they commanded the Jews to eat pork as a proof of their allegiance to Antiochus. Eventually, Antiochus' men came to a village in Judea named Madin. A Greco-Syrian soldier entered the temple and started to sacrifice a pig on the altar. Enraged by this action, an old priest named Mattathias and the Hasmonean stabbed the soldier to death. A revolt had begun. Pursued by the Greco-Syrians, Mattathias and his 5 sons, known as the Maccabees, fled to the hills surrounding Jerusalem. There, the resistance movement took form. Before Mattathias died, he selected his son Judah the Hammer to lead the fight, and Judah did so valiantly. Through strategy and foresight, the rebels overcame all of Antiochus' forces, including an army riding elephants. In victory, the Maccabees liberated Jerusalem from the invaders, and on the 25th day of Kislev, they cleansed the temple, and that's why we celebrate different times each year, because it has to be the 25th day of Kislev. They cleansed the temple, which had been defiled. Hanukkah, which means dedication, commemorates that day. According to legend, a miracle then occurred to rededicate the temple. Holy oil was needed to light the temple great menorahs or candelabrum. The Jews searched and searched, but found only one small cruse of sacramental oil, barely enough to last a day. Knowing it would take 8 days to prepare new holy oil, I need a page turner. They nevertheless used the little bit of oil and lit the menorah. Miraculously, the oil burned for 8 days. Thus is the reason that we light 8 candles, and you'll see 9 candles in a menorah, because the one candle which stands up a little higher is the one that we use to light each candle. The candles can be burned either from the right to left or left to right, and some people light all of them one night. So, various things.
Thanks, Norma.
Thank you, Norma.
Thank you, Norma. All right, let's sing happy birthday to our neighbors. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Have a good week. Happy holidays, everybody.